KAD vlog. Join us on our 2-week acclimatisation journey and our first attempt at summiting Mont Blanc. Today was the day, summit day, and up until this moment I had been riddled with fear and anxiety. When training to ascend these beautiful mountain peaks, the reality that you might not make it back was real, especially for Mont Blanc. With the best experience in the world, being caught in an avalanche or having a serac fall upon you was something you weren't likely coming back from. It was Dragon's dream to climb this mountain, and a tricky position to be in as his mum in deciding to take the risk. All I knew was that at his age, I wanted to be the person who was making those calls, and in the weeks prior to this, I was ready to pull the plug on it at any point. I felt the risk was too high. The first mountain tackle posed risk with massive seracs penetrating deep into the mountain. For the entire ascent, we had to keep our eyes peeled in the dark for signs of these and be ready to halt each other's fall should one of us fall through the snow, as I had done so only days before. For parts, it meant a bold jump, as the ice bridges between the crevasses were so thin and fragile to even hold a single step. Ascending to Maudit only meant that anxieties grew. This was a lonely place now, deep within the cold of the mountain. This was not a popular route like the Guta, and the essentiality of being completely competent really set in as we ascended the first part of the ice wall, which was near vertical. The initial part involved using a rope, which I was mindful of quite how much weight I wanted to put into this. On reaching the top, I saw that the rope was only anchored by a piece of wood. The next section of this mountain is all vertical, and every step or pull of the ice axe requires complete focus. The huge exposure means a fall here would be hard to halt. 2 ice axes are needed by the leader, and each exhausting swing as I plummeted mine into the ice required full focus. We were over 4,400 metres at this point. The air is thin. This was the most frightening part of the climb, and a climb it was. As we made it to the summit of Maudit, the wind picked up, and possibly the shock of what we'd just accomplished kicked in. And I quickly noticed that I needed more layers of clothing to regulate my body temperature. The peak was now in sight, but this brought awareness of just how much there was still to go, and it was overwhelming. Oxygen was noticeably lower here. We persevered, but my blood sugars at this point had remained very high throughout, which I was happy with, as I didn't want to chance a low blood sugar over such dangerous terrain. But the effects of this was now adding to the fatigue in my leg muscles. Dragon throughout this was strong, and while I was leading the expedition, he was the physically more competent. And an excellent member of the team, having studied the route days upon days at Agidimidi, to where he knew exactly where we were at any one point. My body, on the other hand, was struggling. It was hard being the responsible adult and feeling weaker than my boy, but instead I felt safe and incredibly proud. He was made to summit this mountain. This was the day, and it gave me the push I needed to make it happen. Here is the video of him making it to the top. I love the capture of his steps and the elation as he reaches the peak.
On the top of Europe! Woo!
What do you do when you get to the top, Dragon?
Woo! He earned this. We earned this. Many people attempt to summit Mont Blanc, but there is only a 50% success rate. During our trip, I met people who didn't have the right weather conditions, had medical issues, or weren't acclimatised enough. It was a gift to achieve something so outstanding with my boy. There's nothing fancy about my videos. They're just real. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to like, subscribe and click that notification bell.
So we started over here on the hut just down by Agidimidi, and then we went round up the front of this mountain here, and then across up to the peak of this mountain, which is Maudit, and then all the way across to the peak of Mont Blanc.